We've been waiting for a whole year now for Sony to officially unveil the PlayStation 5, and it seems really likely that the company will formally show off the system and even some of its launch titles within the next few weeks. It truly is an exciting time for any PlayStation fan. The only issue, if there was, one off the top of my head, is that if I'm going to be making speculative content about the PlayStation 5, there is a huge chance that it could be obsolete within a few days of it coming out. Just wanted to get that out of the way at the very start, because the alternative to speculative content is something like this. Hello, welcome to our video of the 10 best buttons on the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller. In at number 10 we have the R3 stick in 1333, when surveyors found that Everest to be the highest mountain in the world. It had nothing on this bad lad. Ooh, it's a good one. Number 9 we have controversially the cross button. Do you see what I mean? No one really wants that, I hope. Do you want that? Anyway, hello, I'm Liam from Pushsquare, and we thought it'd be fun to share with you our wish list of games we'd like to see on the PlayStation 5. From Spider-Man 2 to Killzone VR, this is our list of 10 games we'd love to see on the PlayStation 5. Before we start, if you could like this video and maybe give us a subscribe, that's not how you say that, maybe subscribe to the channel, it would really help us out. Naughty Dog may have bid farewell to the Uncharted series with the release of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy in 2017, but just because its original creator is no longer at the helm, that doesn't mean that the franchise is dead. Rumours that began circulating towards the start of the year suggested that Sony has set up a brand new first-party studio and given them the task of bringing the fortune-hunting franchise to their next generation platform. There's nothing in terms of actual information just yet, but the promise of a next-gen Uncharted is a tantalising thing indeed. We'd love to see the series find a home on the PlayStation 5, but only if the change in developer results in a refreshed take on the slowly aging series. We'd like to see an Uncharted game that does fully open world, allowing us to embark on an adventure where the pace and direction is dictated by the player. Imagine being granted access to a huge open area, filled with clues to decipher, hidden temples to uncover, and treasures to plunder. It would be a world away from its largely linear predecessors. We'd also like to see a brand new cast of characters take the reins this time around, separating this new entry from the original quadrilogy. We'll all miss Nathan Drake, don't get us wrong, but it feels like the right time for someone new to be the poster child for Sony's flagship franchise. The thought of a refreshed take on the series, complete with new characters to sweep us off our feet and brand new mechanics to play around with, sounds like a genuine system seller. As a side note, we also can't wait to see what Naughty Dog have planned for the PlayStation 5. Now that the team is wrapping up work on The Last of Us Part 2, we're curious to see if the developer is working on a brand new franchise for next gen. Naughty Dog have toyed around with a number of ideas over the years, from an undeveloped sci-fi concept to a modern reimagining of their Jack and Daxter franchise, but we'd love to see them tackle something completely different this time, applying their industry-defining storytelling ability to a genre they've yet to tackle. A fully fledged RPG, for example, would be a beautiful thing indeed. Everyone's favourite rodent and robot duo, Ratchet and Clank, were woefully underrepresented on the PlayStation 4. 2016's reboot/remake/film tie-in was a stunning 3D platformer that successfully breathed new life into the franchise, but with the company focusing on their adaptation of Marvel's Spider-Man, we sadly never received a sequel set within this brand new universe. Now that Insomniac is a first-party Sony-owned studio, I wouldn't be surprised if, alongside a sequel to Spider-Man, the team are also working on a new installment of their beloved PlayStation franchise. A direct sequel to the 2016 reboot would be wonderful, but we hope it's a brand new story and not a remake of 2003's Going Commando. As much as we love that game, we just want to spend more time with these characters as they embark on a brand new adventure. One filled with colourful new locations, zany new weapons, and hilarious new characters. Hopefully this ends up being a launch title, one that shows off the power of Sony's next-gen hardware. Did anyone actually end up watching that Ratchet and Clank film? I think I saw it twice on two separate plane journeys at the time, and honestly, can't remember a single thing about that film. It had zero cultural impact. Personally, I'm just really excited to see that Sly Cooper film. That will probably come out before that Uncharted film does. With the PlayStation 5 scheduled to release towards the tail end of 2020, Sony have been careful to keep their slate of releases relatively clear in the run-up to the system's launch. With one console nearing the end of its life cycle and another just on the horizon, it's important to maintain a careful balance when it comes to new games. The new console must look appealing to those itching to make the leap to next gen, while the previous system must still receive support right up until the very end. Thankfully, Sony haven't released or are planning to release anything major over the course of 2020. Oh. With so many great games released within the PlayStation 5's launch window, it would be great to see these titles receive next-gen re-releases that showcase the console's enhanced capabilities. Ideally, we would expect to see Sony adopt a model similar to Microsoft's proposed Smart Delivery feature, which allows Xbox owners to buy a game for their Xbox One with the knowledge that they will receive a next-gen upgrade for free when they purchase the upcoming Series X. It would be refreshing to be told that the majority of first-party titles we purchase on the PlayStation 4 this year will not only be fully compatible, but also improved significantly for free when we pop them into our shiny new PlayStation 5s. And if third-party studios get involved as well, well, that would be the icing on the cake as far as we're concerned. Cyberpunk 2077 for free on PlayStation 5. I mean, you're not going to say no to that, are you? In 1999, Capcom released DINO Crisis for the PlayStation 1, a spiritual successor to the Resident Evil series. To the extent that it shared the majority of its mechanics and systems, DINO Crisis was a fun take on the survival horror genre that saw ravenous hordes of undead creatures replaced with ferocious dinosaurs. Intelligent and deadly, DINO Crisis's raptors were a far more formidable threat compared to Resident Evil's zombies, eager to hunt down the player throughout the game's labyrinth-like laboratory corridors. Unfortunately named protagonist Regina and the rest of the members of SWORD, I love that name, SWORD is so ridiculous, were a delightful bunch, and the game's ridiculous narrative was as endearingly cheesy as you would expect from a 90s Capcom survival horror title. Although the game received two sequels, the more action-focused DINO Crisis 2 and the so bad I don't even want to talk about it DINO Crisis 3, the series has been extinct ever since. Following the successful release of both the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, now feels like the perfect time for Capcom to breathe new life into this long-forgotten PlayStation 1 classic. A DINO Crisis remake, built using a next-gen iteration of the RE engine, would be phenomenal. The most recent Resident Evil remakes have proven that a modern-day survival horror game can be as terrifying as it is beautiful, and no game would benefit as much from this technology than DINO Crisis. Wandering through a ruined laboratory, the twisted hallways illuminated by flickering lights and emergency alert systems, the sounds of claws rasping against sheet metal as you slowly approach a blood-soaked door. Perfection. The best thing about a remake is that it would also provide Capcom with the opportunity to realise creator Shinji Mikami's original vision for the project. The legendary Resident Evil director intended DINO Crisis to offer a blend of laboratory and jungle environments alongside a small number of enemy raptors that were not only near impossible to kill, but also hunted you relentlessly from room to room throughout the entire game. Both of these features proved impossible due to the PlayStation 1's limited processing power, but on a next-gen system, Mikami's ideas could finally come into fruition. Imagine a DINO Crisis remake that combines the combat system from Resident Evil 2 remake, the graphical capabilities of the RE engine, and an Alien Isolation style group of nearly unbeatable enemies that pursue you throughout the extent of your adventure. Personally, I can't imagine anything better. Come on Capcom, you owe me one. I played through Dun Survivor 3, I've earned this. With the launch of PlayStation VR, Sony proved that home console virtual reality was a commercially viable venture. With the PlayStation 5's release just around the corner, it seems likely that the company will reaffirm its commitment to virtual reality for the next generation. We already know that the current iteration of the PlayStation VR headset will be compatible with the PlayStation 5, but it seems likely that a revised version of the headset will also be released alongside the system. Seeing the drastic improvements VR headsets have received over the years, we wouldn't be surprised if PlayStation VR version 2 comes included with higher quality displays, improved ergonomics, and will be self-tracking, removing the requirement for the controller's light bar in the PlayStation camera. With this enhanced VR technology, Sony will need a strong lineup of games to prove its worth to reluctant gamers still on the fence. A sequel to 2018's marvellous Astrobot Rescue Mission would be a strong start, but what about another first-party VR experience to go alongside it? With the likes of Half-Life Alyx and Asgard's God's wrath. Providing lengthy, narrative-driven adventures to other VR platforms, Sony would do well to push something that matched these releases in both scope and quality. Although a brand new IP would be preferable, it would be good to see the company adapt one of their now dormant franchises into a VR game. Perhaps the next Killzone could be a VR exclusive title, for example. Or maybe MotorStorm could make its triumphant return by allowing PlayStation 5 players to race through exotic locations in the series' most immersive installment to date. It would also be good to see stronger third-party support for the system in the next generation. Half-Life Alyx would be an incredible addition to the platform's library, as would any number of the great games we've seen prove successful on Steam over the years since PlayStation VR's release. Either way, it's exciting to think what Sony has in store for their headset moving forward. In my restless dreams, I see that unannounced Silent Hill project for PlayStation 5. Rumours that began circulating earlier this year suggested that Konami's long-dormant survival horror franchise Silent Hill was being resurrected as a PlayStation 5 exclusive by Japan's studio and several top-tier collaborators. Alongside this, separate rumours hinted that Silent Hills, the project helmed by Hideo Kojima that was tragically cancelled in 2015, was also making its return to Sony's next-gen system. Immediately dismissed as ludicrous, the rumours have persisted despite Konami themselves denying them outright. Further reports that have surfaced since claim that series alumni and Gravity Rush creator Teiichiro Toyama is directing the project, joined by respected horror artist Masahiro Ito and Akira Yamamoto, the original composer for the series. I apologise, singing Japanese names in my Geordie accent never sounds right. Despite the odds seeming against the possibility of not one but two Silent Hill titles being in production for the PlayStation 5, it's hard not to feel excited by the prospect of the series returning to its original home with the care and passion it so rightly deserves. Since Kojima's departure in 2015, IP owner Konami has made it quite clear that they care little for the future of their primary franchises. Their continued apathy makes the suggestion that Sony has stepped in to develop the franchise for them in exchange for console exclusivity seem almost, well, plausible. Silent Hills was intended to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive, so the jump to PlayStation 5 does make sense. Hideo Kojima, bankrolled by Sony after departing Konami to fund the development of Death Stranding, would undoubtedly be happy to work with the publisher again on another project, especially one he was clearly disheartened to see collapse in his absence. Even Sony themselves, a company clearly looking to achieve some clout as they move forward into the next generation, would have reason to boast their newfound stewardship of a beloved franchise so cruelly thrown aside before its time. For us, the thought of even just one Silent Hill title being released on the PlayStation 5 is an exciting prospect. This classic horror franchise has arguably been misunderstood since the release of Silent Hill 3, with subsequent installments losing sight of the psychological foundations that made the original game so special in the first place. To see a brand new studio with a wealth of experience take over the series sounds incredible. And who knows, with two projects being in the works simultaneously, it raises the possibility that one may be a traditional console title while the other is a VR exclusive release. PT demonstrated that Silent Hills was planned to be played from a first-person perspective, making it a perfect fit for Sony's next generation headset. While we're on the subject of Konami giving their properties to different developers, can we please get another remake of Metal Gear Solid? Just give it to Bluepoint, they would do an incredible job. Fans of the site will already be aware of how much we adore Sony's long-running Everybody's Golf series. Its pitch-perfect mix of light-hearted arcadey gameplay, colourful visuals and fantastic multiplayer modes have made it a staple part of Sony's library since it was first released on the PlayStation 1 in 1997. However, when it comes to its inevitable PlayStation 5 iteration, we would love to see developer clap hands take a different direction with the series. Everybody's Golf's PlayStation 4 outing introduced several great new features that encourage social play, such as fishing, the ability to roam across courses, and options to chat to players as they teed off. Imagine if this concept was expanded to span an entire island filled with things to do. The team could implement a sequel to Everybody's Tennis, or add in a variety of sports and activities a la Wii Sports, such as bowling, boxing, or paragliding. Presented in the developer's signature cartoonish style, this island full of physical activities could become become a shared social hub that can be updated regularly throughout the PlayStation 5's lifecycle. Imagine it adding completely new sports for you and your friends to tonter together online. Whatever it may be, it would be great to see Clap Hands tackle a much larger project on the PlayStation 5. We first heard about the elusive Harry Potter RPG in 2018 when a video showcasing gameplay footage leaked online. The low-quality clip revealed a gorgeous representation of the beloved universe that appeared to be very far along in development. Graphical effects, character models, locations, and UI all looked highly polished, lending the leak a sense of legitimacy that publications found hard to criticise. This fully-fledged RPG, complete with a character maker and multiple locations to explore, seemed completely real. 2 years later, and we still haven't heard so much as a peep from Warner Brothers, the expected publisher of the project. Job listings seem to suggest that Just Cause creators Avalanche are the developers behind the game, but concrete information has still yet to be revealed. Whatever this ends up being, we just want to see it come to the PlayStation 5. The Harry Potter universe is ripe for further exploration within the medium of video games, and the prospect of a larger wizarding world for us to potter about in sounds right up our Diagon alley. I hate myself, that's such a bad joke. We hope that when Sony is ready to show off some of their next-gen titles, this unnamed Harry Potter RPG is one of the highlights. We can't wait.
Game is powered by Namco. It's Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer!
It's been 8 years since we last received a Ridge Racer title on a home console, and we believe it's about damn time we received another. Namco's classic arcade racer has been absent for long enough. While Sony are undoubtedly working on a brand new Gran Turismo to satisfy our itch for a relisted driving simulator, Namco have the perfect opportunity to create a light-hearted racing title for the PlayStation 5. Imagine drifting and boosting around a number of stunningly realised tracks, feeling every bump in the road thanks to the DualSense's haptic feedback functionality, all while listening to some classic Ridge Racer tunes. With similar series such as Burnout also tossed to the wayside, there's never been a better time for Ridge Racer to make its glorious return. Here's a nice simple one to end this video on. Do you want sequels? You'll get sequels! If we had to put money on 3 titles we'll definitely see released on the PlayStation 5, it would be these: Spider-Man 2, God of War 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn 2. Each of the original titles proved to be some of the PlayStation 4's finest exclusives, and Sony are never going to miss the chance to capitalise on their success with bigger and better follow-ups on the PlayStation 5. Spider-Man 2 is particularly exciting to us. Insomniac's first game was a thrilling attempt at capturing what makes Marvel's web swinner one of their best superheroes, but we think they could do more. We would love to see a rogues gallery of villains take control of New York, a selection of more interesting street crimes to solve, and more playable sections as alter ego Peter Parker. Who wouldn't want to, I don't know, set up cameras around an area so you can get some nice pictures of Spider-Man to sell to the Daily Bugle once you've taken off your webbed pyjamas? The possibilities are endless, and we can't wait to see what Insomniac comes up with next. I don't know why I decided to record this on just the hottest day we've had for weeks, in this very small room with all the windows closed, 2 lights shining at me. I'm dying. This is how I die. So there we have it, our list of 10 games we'd love to see on the PlayStation 5. What would you like to see come to the PlayStation 5? A brand new Sly Cooper? A sequel to Mod Nation Racers? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and make sure to subscribe to Push Square for everything PlayStation. Thank you, as always, for watching.